Today, I'm here to talk about what Black Lives Matter means to me, and why it's important to everyone, and why all lives matter is not exactly the best way to go about it. The reason all lives matter is basically you're contradicting their protest, and their protest is not saying that Black lives are more important. The protest is to show that they are important and that police brutality needs to be, you know, evaluated more in cases of using force. So that's just something I wanted to get off the bat. And I wanted to tell you a little bit of someone who's very close to me and why it matters for Black Lives Matter. So I don't know if you know Lloyd Sarnor. Probably say his last name wrong because I always think of it as Lloyd Larson because he's really my brother. Lloyd is a great guy, and I want to tell you a little bit about him and how it all connects. So Lloyd, he grew up in Liberia. He lived there until he was about 9 years old, and he had to go through the struggle of one having to leave certain parts of his family in Africa. He also had to struggle with living there when they were going through a civil war. He remembers clearly the one story he told me of having to hide underneath his bed with his twin brother and his dad. And obviously he hasn't told me much because it's scarring, and sometimes it's hard to talk about that. And I completely understand. I can't imagine what that's like. Um, you know, Almost all Americans have no idea what that feeling is like in terms of your whole country is going through a civil war. Um, but yeah, so he has those scars that are still with him. But through that, he battled through. His family immigrated here, and he lives in Coatesville for a while. How I got to know Lloyd is through basketball, actually. So I was on an AAU team with my dad. My dad was the coach. Year in, year out, it was mostly the same group of guys from Twin Valley. It kind of got repetitive in terms of tryouts and stuff like that. But one year, this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. One year, Floyd, his twin brother, and a bunch of his friends from Coatesville came down in a minivan, and they all came and played. Miss K was the one driving the minivan. If you know Miss K, she is a saint among people. She's really an angel. But anyway, she drove everyone down, and I met Lloyd through there. Lloyd, made the team, and he came over to my house multiple times, and we really got a strong relationship. He's just one of those guys that really can make you laugh no matter what mood you're in. He's so funny. He smiles instantly almost all the time. He's a hugger. He's so personable, and that type of energy is what people love. So Lloyd eventually went to the same school as me, same high school in Twin Valley, and in like a year and a half, he had more friends than I did, and I grew up in Twin Valley my whole life. It's just that's who he was. You couldn't not love this kid, basically. Um, but yeah, we played basketball together, and then Miss K, who takes care of a lot of young boys in Coatesville and helps them shape them into men. Um, she asked if Lloyd could live with us and graduate from Twin Valley because he's so lovable, and in that case he was so lovable that he didn't really focus on school that much. So my parents asked me, and of course I said yes. I wanted to live with him. He's an awesome guy. So Lloyd actually lived with us for a little over 2 years, I believe. He went to Twin Valley to finish out his high school degree, and that was a big accomplishment, Lloyd. I'm proud of you for that. It was hard in terms of being a little bit behind and then being able to catch all the way up, work hard on his own. He was able to accomplish all of this. And as we were getting ready for graduation, um, high school graduation, getting ready to go to college and what college he wanted to go to and all this type of stuff, his family actually moved to Arizona. And being the loving family man that he is, he decided that to benefit his family, that he would go down to Arizona as well. So he's still currently in Arizona right now, but he has constantly been working, constantly been going through stuff, and in Arizona, not knowing anyone, and then getting all his friends because of his personality, and then getting these jobs to he's working hard. He's in an apartment with him and his twin brother Floyd, and he's really doing well. And the reason why I'm telling you this story, they're like, okay, this is cool. It's nice to know Lloyd. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because when I was thinking about everything that's been going on with the riots and Black Lives Matter, I don't know what exactly to think. I have plenty of cop friends and cop family members who are great people, and I could never see them doing anything in this sort. And there still are really good cops that wouldn't do anything like this. My one friend talked about how, yeah, the police officer that killed George Floyd, without a shadow of a doubt, he should be arrested, and he was all for having him arrested because he is a good cop and he knows what he's supposed to do, and knows that he was doing the wrong thing. So, I was in my head all the time, seeing everything, trying to research everything. But what really stuck out to me is the epiphany that came in when I'm thinking about, what if that was Lloyd? You know, what if George Floyd was Lloyd, right? If he was just there, and some of the stories about why he was being arrested is for what they thought was a counterfeited $20 check. I've heard different things, but it doesn't really matter. You look at the details in terms of he's laying there on the ground, he's not resisting arrest, and for the police officer to do a move, when one, it's not big of a crime, two, he doesn't George Floyd didn't deserve that type of physicality in terms of putting his knee on his neck. It's not police issued to do that for any seconds, let alone the 9 minutes that he did it. All these things, just thinking if that was Lloyd, if Lloyd was out there, not doing anything illegal or, rumored to be doing something illegal that was small like that. And for him to be killed off that would really just tear me apart, just because he's such a great guy, and he brings happiness to so many people, and he brings laughter into a world of hate. And to just have that spark and that energy to be extinguished off of police brutality when it's not needed, would just break my heart and so many people's hearts. So many people. He's so popular. um and that's why Black Lives Matter is such a movement, because Lloyd is one of the many, many, many people of color that matter, and they deserve to be protected by the police. That's their job, is to protect them. And it's sad that they have to live almost in a constant fear that if they do the wrong thing, or even if they do the right thing, that they can be severely injured or killed. And I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, and that's why Black Lives Matter is so important. Um, Lloyd, I love you. Floyd, Ansu, Amadou, Quadir, all Abbas, all the guys from Coatesville that I met when I met Lloyd, everyone, every person of color, you are loved. We are created equal in the image of God. So white power is stupid. It's not a thing.